Okay, American Revolutionary War Part 2. Now that the British had decided to concentrate in the South, and then we're gradually moving northward, the other important thing for us to realize is that the French are coming. And the French have a fleet. Well, they start supplying troops to Washington, including a young military leader named the Marquis de Lafayette, who becomes quite famous. And they also have an admiral in charge of a French fleet, Admiral de Grasse. And that's coming, so that's starting to become an important thing. But in the meantime, we still have to fight this war of attrition. We still have to get the British to keep coming, but not really win. And this is where this story kind of takes off down here, because General Clinton has come and he's taken Atlanta and Charleston, two very important cities in Georgia and South Carolina. And against him is Horatio Gates. Now, if you remember Horatio Gates, he's up here at Saratoga with Benedict Arnold. Well, at this time, both these men become important to our story in different ways. Horatio Gates becomes important because it gets proven in a way that he was not the genius that led this victory at Saratoga, because he's trying to stop the British and cannot find ways to do it down here. And so he has to be replaced by another commander, Nathaniel Greene. And Nathaniel Greene and his troops managed to use the same tactics that Washington had used before to get the British to separate their forces, to divide their forces, and to fight this war of attrition gradually through North Carolina up into Virginia, which becomes very important. But because they're making progress, General Clinton goes back here to New York because Benedict Arnold has offered him his post, and so he's going to give up West Point to the British. Luckily for us, that gets discovered and that plot fails. Of course, it really upsets Americans that one of their great leaders has betrayed them, and for that we can never forgive Benedict Arnold. But in the meantime, the British are making their way up the south, and the general in charge, Cornwallis, is told to turn to the coast, which he does because Clinton in New York is worried about the French fleet coming here and attacking him at this very important location. He wants the British fleet to take Cornwallis back to New York for protection. Well, Cornwallis sets up camp at Yorktown in Virginia, right there. As it turns out, Admiral de Grasse with his French fleet is down in the Caribbean fighting the British and comes up this way. Washington learns that that is happening. He sneaks down from around New York, which he has been trying to convince Clinton there that he's going to stay there. He sneaks down as quickly as possible from New York with his troops and Lafayette. The Admiral de Grasse comes in from the south, their fleet, and the timing is perfect. The British are not ready for this. The French fleet blockades the coast, which means the British fleet can't come and help. And Cornwallis is surrounded by American and French soldiers. This is a huge loss. In 1781, the Battle of Yorktown, and Cornwallis surrenders. And the Americans have won a huge victory. This is really the last major battle of the war. This great success achieves exactly what Washington wanted. The British get all discouraged, their morale drops, they don't want to fight anymore, they give up. So the war of attrition has worked, the alliance has worked. Washington deserves to go down in history as a great general for having succeeded against these odds. So there we go, the story of the American Revolutionary War.